Yes, I'm looking at Diego's screen here, and he's going to tell me about Metaceller. Please go ahead.
Well, welcome to the screencast of Metaceller. You can do this yourself when you download the latest Moose image, the 4.8, and you open a workspace and you type GT Metaceller open, and then we do it, and you get the Metacello browser. That title isn't correct, so there's work in progress, so there might be some minor bugs. On the left side, you start seeing all configurations that are loaded. And sometimes you see an arrow below it, and then it depends, the configuration itself depends on a configuration that is also present.
Okay, so you now pressed the Glamour, and then you see here the versions of the configurations. I see here something in bold. What does that mean?
This means that this is the stable version. So this is probably the version you want to download.
Aha. Okay. And how do I see which version is loaded currently?
I decided not to include that, the current version, because that is a bit slow, and I don't want any actions that have heavy performance problems done automatically just by browsing. So that's something that should be made into the menu.
Okay, thank you.
And on the downside, below, when you select the version, you see the method itself, and you can edit it here. So you can say, well, I don't want Greece stable, I want Greece development in this version incorporated. And then you see that when you select it here, sorry for the scroll. When you select it here, that the Greece project is now development. And when I go back to stable and I save it, then it gets a refresh. You select the version again, and you see that you now have the Greece stable version. So you can edit it simply within the configuration browser. And when you say, well, I have a method in my configuration that I don't see, you can actually switch to the tab methods, where you can have them all. And this view probably should be moved because it grows too large, but here you can see how the versions are interdependent. And
okay, this is one of the VM bugs we recently had. That's a bit of a shame. It's not disturbing further, just taking some time. I see that in the third pane you seem to have a much nicer view on all the version 2.4 method. Tell me please, what's that?
So in the third pane you can actually browse how the version is compounded, and it says here all the packages. And the coloring, I try to maintain the Metacello standards. So underlined means that is actually present in this version, in this image. When it's grayed out, it means that I have a newer version than is actually marked here. And when it is bold, it means that in the configuration there is a newer version, so I should probably load it.
Okay.
So I could say here from the menu load, then it starts loading, and then a refresh takes place, and then you should see that the Magritte stuff is updated.
Okay. Tell me about all those tags you have next to that.
And as you know, in the configuration there are a lot of groups, and for each group there is a tag, so you can easily select what gets loaded when I load only the group core or only the group tests, because it is done recursively. So it also includes the packages it includes all packages that gets loaded.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as you can see, it loads quite a lot, and it says, oh, well, apparently I've got some dirty package here, so it's the default you get. Oh,
This
okay.
seems to be an old version. Depends on block context.
Yeah, well, I'm now going to proceed because I'm not interested in
the results.
In the result, I'm only interested in showing that it works.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, normally that's the kind of thing you want to flag from. Hey, something is wrong here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Can I proceed on this, or is that too big an error?
So, tell me, this is only working in Pharo 2.0?
I don't know. I think it should also work in 1.4, but yes, it does work in for 1.4 as well.
Mm-hmm.
I tested that as well. It is based on Glamour, so yeah, you need a Smalltalk that can load Glamour.
Mm-hmm.
And when that's the case, then you should be fine.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few things I want to show, and now you probably should cut something in this screencast because the loading is a bit slow. Maybe I should.
In the background there is an error downstairs. Error.
But that's not important. So now I select the Foodbond 4 again, and you can see that the grid model is updated. So now I have all versions. Oh, it actually loads exactly this version.
Okay, yeah.
So
this is a work in progress. You are not yet using the system announcements to update, but you have to switch selection to get the update at the moment.
Yes, and when you do things in the tool generates the announcements needed, but, well, when you do things outside the tool, it won't work. As for the coding, here I can select the group, and then you see exactly this group. Here I can also say, well, I want to only see the baselines, and it filters on the baselines. Mm-hmm. And I have a dependency graph that
you broke with loading the.
That I broke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I broke it by loading. Nice, not nice. Let's look at a more complex thing. Here you can see, for instance, Seaside. That's a really big configuration. This is again the VM bug, and you can here really see that, for instance, okay, I only have one March table, which is kind of a weird blessing. And when I select that version, I can really also drill down into the projects. You can see that this only loads the group core tests from Greece, and I can see what belongs then to that group, and here you go. And I can also look at the groups itself, and here you can see Zinc, for instance, isn't loaded yet. So maybe I should load. Does it load the configuration? It should load only the configuration. Or did I lose that button? And now it only loads Zinc from, it actually loads Zinc, but it only loads Zinc from the 308.
Yeah, which should be not necessary on Pharo 2.0.
Which should not be necessary, but it hasn't loaded the configuration yet, and that's why it wasn't underlined. And here you can see Swazoo isn't in any group anymore because, it is commented out for Pharo 2.0.
Yeah.
and also some packages that are, not there for Pharo 2.0 anymore, or at least not checked for Pharo 2.0.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll put this on YouTube.
Okay.
Ja.
Hoe vond je het gaan?
Ik moet even kijken hoe ik hem nou moet stoppen.